All right, good morning. Oh, wait a minute. This is being recorded. Good morning. This is February 25th, 2023. It is 10 a.m. This is a special meeting of the Lake Balboa Ad Hoc Budget Committee. We have quorum. We're going to now say welcome and call the meeting to order at 10 o'clock. And let's see who's here. Okay, so our voting committee members, James Brown,
Here.
Michael Cortez is absent. He is out of town. Linda Grovani.
Here.
Danica. Okay, so far no. Danica's absent. Carol Newman is a yes.
Here.
Schwering is a yes. Okay, we all know that we're not chatting today, so we will go on to item number 3. Discussion and action to adopt today the February 25th, 2023 meeting agenda. I'd like to make a motion to adopt the agenda.
Gravani seconds.
Gravani seconds. Okay. All right. We take a vote. James Brown,
Yes.
Linda Gravani,
Yes.
Carol Newman.
Yes.
Oh, Carol, I marked you as absent.
Here.
And Linda Schwerin. Okay, so that is 5. We have 5 yes, 0 no.
4 yes.
Pardon me?
4 yes. I don't count.
Oh, that's true. You do count, but you're not on the committee. Okay, number 4. Possible action to approve the minutes for November 29th, 2022. Those are not available at this time, so we will present those at the next meeting. And we will go on to number 5, which is announcements. Since we did not get to do our meeting on the 22nd, just as an update, we have permission for Galt Street School for our elections, but no information, to my knowledge, as yet for regular meetings. And I did provide this, I'll reiterate. The cost to us for that is going to be $815.44. City clerk pays $150. So there will be $665.44 that will come out of our budget in the election categories to apply to elections. However, we have already enough money in that category. We just use that as a notation for right now. Does anybody else have any other announcements that are going to be pertinent today?
Not an announcement exactly, but something maybe we could consider at a future agenda is we had wanted to, I know Jim and a number of us wanted to give money to Valley Relics for an appropriate, use. And rather than use Galt Street School, could we consider perhaps renting some space, once a month from Valley Relics to have our meetings? That way they get the money, but it's for something that, we actually need. It's a quid pro quo as opposed to giving them money. So I just wanted to suggest that perhaps we could discuss that at a later time.
That's something to consider. Of course, we would have to deal with ADA and other things and present that to funding. And maybe that's something that we would want to bring up at a board meeting.
Yeah, I'm just not wild about Galt Street School. I mean, they have rats, they have huge cockroaches. We saw one go up Bob Hirschberg's leg. So
Oh,
I'm just not wild about that location. That's all.
well, I was hoping
Really?
still that we would be able to try Park VNY, and I'm still waiting for information with regard to that particular location. So news at 11, that's not something for today, but I made a note for here.
Just a thought.
Okay. Anybody else? No? Okay. Then let's go on to public comment. Is there public here, and do you have a comment?
Just us.
Just us. Okay. So there are no public comments. All right. So item number 7, reviewing the committed and the spent funds since February 1st. And I had provided our committee with a sheet on that, but it has been updated and it is good through the 15th. So let's see if I can do this and share the screen. There we go. Okay, so this has been updated since our last one. If I make this small, we should be able to see everything there. What you'll see that's going to be different from what you may have viewed before is under office and operational. The expenses were adjusted. The forecast is about the same. And we have approximately $534 left. And you'll see on the right-hand side where it says office and operation, 500 committed. That's for the storage containers or containers for our storage unit to put our items in so they're not flopping around. Also the $400 that's listed as a commitment for board member retreat, 150 for business cards. Those are items that the board has already approved, although have not been spent. And of course, it's possible that we may not want to spend those things. A board member retreat, in my view, a board member retreat between now and June is certainly not practical.
Linda, do we want to discuss this now, or are you just going to go over these items and then we discuss them later when you want to move the funds?
Well, everyone has a copy of this, correct?
Yes.
Okay, then we don't need to spend any more time right now. If you have it to review, you can see that outreach is in the negative or over budget. We'll discuss that. So if we've all had a chance to look at this, then I'll stop sharing the screen and we will go on to item number 9, correct?
8.
Great, petition, let's see if I have this to share for you. No, I do not, unless it's going to be in our. So additional expenses would actually be something that we would forecast through the end of June, you can, I'm sorry, this is not here. It should be. Cute. Let's come, well, we can't do anything about amending the budget until I get this for you. So let's see. All right, are you probably looking at what I'm looking at? I'm going to reduce you a second because I think you probably do need to have this stuff. Come on. Okay, trying to get this for you. It should have been on my share screen. It did not show up. So I should whistle or perhaps tap dance while it's opening and I can share this with you. And it's on the way. Hopefully by the time, this has nothing to do with the meeting, but hopefully by the next time we meet again, I will have a new computer or laptop and we won't have these delays. No. Well, folks, that's not happening.
Well,
So, all right, so here's what I have for you. And this is not, unfortunately, something that I can do to share the screen, but I can tell you that the expenses that are forecasted through the end, let me make this bigger, through the end of June are also included on the expense, the forecast and expenditure, the commitment sheet that I just shared with you. And if you go back and look at that, you will see for each category forecasted expenses through the end of June. That's the one we just reviewed.
Correct.
Okay. So based on what's forecasted, you can see what was left in the categories from that expenses and commitment sheet. And these items will be going up next year because we're going to be meeting hopefully live instead of virtual. So our Zoom expenses may go down, our in-person meeting, etc., is going to go up. We'll discuss that later. And we'll go on then to number 9.
Linda has a comment.
Oh, Linda, sorry, I didn't see your hand. Go ahead.
Okay, according to the expenses and commitments as of February 15, the only forecast through June is $7,259, which is already in the office operational category, and we're positive for that. So that's 534 positive. So we're covered. There's nothing that we need to discuss on that.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
So our the items that we have committed both there and in the outreach category are something that we're going to review in detail as far as whether we want to eliminate them as committed funds because we're not spending it. And then we can do that when we're doing the recommendations for amending the current 2022-2023 budget, which is
Can we
coming
do
up.
it now? Because it's a lot clearer on this form.
Certainly use that as a reference.
Okay,
Yeah.
so,
And we can
Um,
do that, and then we'll know that that does not apply for us later. So here, my suggestion, the $500 for storage containers that are committed, I do believe that that's too high. I don't think we need $500 for for storage containers for what we have in the public storage.
well, we
So
don't know how many we need. We don't know what the actual cost is, so I would just leave that alone. My recommendation is to throw back the $400 for the retreat because I'm not going to organize it and I don't believe anyone else is, so we can throw that back into the pot. The $150 for business cards, I'm thinking, I don't know who's going to be on the board come June. We might need all new cards, or if you're no longer first vice president, you might be second vice president. We need new cards at that time. So I would throw that $150 back in the pot. I don't see us doing a lot of outreach where we need business cards at this moment in time. So for me, that would be $550 to put someplace else.
all right, so can I have comments from other
I agree with
members?
Linda. I agree. Let's put that money back in the pot.
I agree, put the money back in the pot.
Okay,
Okay.
I agree as well. So what we're going to do is we'll eliminate those commitment funds.
Okay, I also believe the same thing applies to outreach, the new board polo shirts. If you don't have the polo shirt at this moment in time, who knows who's running? As of June 18, we'll have a new board and we can order all new polo shirts if necessary. So I would throw that $300 back into the pot. We've already discussed in the past that the emergency preparedness bins are not going to be updated at this moment in time since we do not have an EP board member that is chair. So we'll have to revisit that probably in the new budget in 2023, 2024. So I would throw that $6,000 back into the pot. Minus the $1,195 that we're over.
All right, so let me verify something. I'm stepping back. Linda G, did you say that you wanted to leave the containers in office and operations? We're going to keep that?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah, okay.
yes, because it's dusty and dirty and our t-shirts are dusty and dirty. And as we mentioned previously, I no longer have my SUV. You no longer have your SUV. It's difficult to get those great big boxes, the bins that they're in for storage, into our cars. So we need smaller plastic containers.
Well,
We don't
then
know how much they,
okay, so we'll leave that in and discuss that later. And now that we're down on outreach, and Linda has made comments on what she feels should stay in. I'm going to let you know that the additional $250 you see in the outreach section that were committed on social media advertising, that could definitely be a possibility. Do we agree on that?
well, we voted for that. So that's money that's being spent.
Well, it has not been spent, but
But we voted on it, so we can't take it away.
well, we
It's,
voted. All these things that you see in the committed section on this sheet are all things that were voted and approved.
that is correct, but
All
this
right.
was voted on and approved at the very last meeting. So that means it's something that's active. $6,000 for
Yeah,
the EP bin.
I understand. That's not my question. Do the other does the rest of the committee agree that we're going to keep the $250 for social media?
Sure.
I see an empty chair. I see an empty chair for Carol. Here she comes.
Yeah, I agree, and I think we shouldn't take it out without speaking with Michael Cortez at least. But we should keep it for now.
Okay, ditto. The committee agrees. or disagrees that we should remove polo shirts from commitments?
I agree.
I agree because the new board may want polo shirts or may not want.
I agree. And we do have shirts, so we'll take that out. And obviously, Linda Gravani's comment with regard to the emergency preparedness bins, that's $6,000. That's not going to happen between now and June. So is it agreed that we will eliminate that as well?
Yes,
Yes,
Okay. With regard to the last item under outreach on that sheet, which is $1,818, that's the balance that's left over for the Neighborhood Watch Project. So does anybody have comments for that?
I
I
think
would
that should
remove
stay.
that.
Pardon me?
What say you, Linda? Ronnie?
I said I would remove that because I don't see any activity, and Gary removed himself from the committee. I removed myself previously, so it's just Danica.
All right, then the suggestion then is to take that $1,800 and take it away from commitments and make the funds available yet in the outreach category. Yes?
Yes.
All
Yep.
right. Okay. All right. I'm doing that, but I'm not making notes in the change of the amount. All right, move on down. There are no issues on this sheet with NPGs currently. Also, with regard to elections, we don't have.
Linda, if I can just go up to community improvement.
Which is
Jim
zero.
Stein, will there be any funds needed for the Jesse Owens plaque?
Between now and June.
I can't commit to any, no.
Okay. Okay, so what
All
you
right.
all don't know is that there is a request for funds for TASK,
For what?
TASC, for $2,500, which we're going to discuss at the Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council meeting. And there would not be enough funds in this category, if indeed we approve it.
Uh,
Have they submitted an NPG?
yeah,
Yes.
that's a different category, Linda. We were discussing community improvement. Everybody
Correct.
confirmed. Yeah. So
Okay, and then we
TAS is
moved
not.
on. I'm sorry.
Okay, I didn't move us on. So community improvement is fine, and NPGs will likely need to be increased. You've got something coming up on the agenda for this March meeting for the board. So that's something that we'll consider when we go on to the budget revision, and that's coming next. The last thing on this sheet is going to be elections, and considering the amount that's currently in the election category, I don't see that there's any reason that we need to spend any more time on this sheet because elections are covered. Is that agreed?
Jim Stein has his hand up.
Yeah,
Oh, he had his head down and his hand up. Go ahead, Jim.
you know, I'm a little confused because I can't vote. I can't contribute anything. Why am I here?
I would say that if you have comments with regard to the election category, when I would say when we come to the next item where we're going to be approving or suggesting
That's
a
what I was
budget
trying to
revision.
find out. Apparently it's in the next item, so I'll lower my hand and wait to be called on.
Okay, fine. So we're going to move on here, and the next item is going to be item number, if I can see it, item number 9, discussion and action regarding recommendations to amend the current fiscal year 2022-2023 budget. And I will share screen with you so that we all can look at this. Oops. Okay. Can you see that?
No,
Is the answer yes or no?
the
No,
answer is no.
Oh, excuse me. Let's make sure that you can. Positive. All right, let's try this again. Now you can see it, right?
yes,
Okay. So this is this sheet is showing you in detail on the right the current budget, which matches the sheet that you have. It also includes $10,000 in rollover funds. And as we move down here, the items that have increased or will possibly increase are listed with an arrow on the right. You'll see that the budgeted amount is crossed out, and there's an up arrow to show you potential increase due to business cards, containers, and perhaps a sound system that may come up at the next meeting to increase the budget by 1,500. That's a suggestion here. PO box rent has gone up. Minute takers the same. Web hosting has gone up. Printing and photocopying, I've listed that as possibly going up only because April through June we may be meeting in person and printing agendas and minutes. Refreshments and snacks also, if we are going to be meeting in person.
Linda,
Yeah,
that printing and photocopying for meetings, $100 yet to $150. That seems kind of light to me, considering, and memory has it that we spent way more than that when Jim was having materials printed at PIP. You have any input on that, Jim?
Well, it's been a long time since we were doing the printing, so I can't remember real well. In fact, it's been so long since we were on Zoom, I can't remember doing any printing at all.
And this is just till June.
yeah.
I see.
Yeah, this would be April through June.
Did I stand corrected? Thank you.
Okay, so that may be a possibility.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And I'm making this big enough so that I can see it too. So if you raise your hand, I don't see you right now. If you'll notice that public storage has gone up, and it's indicated on the right. Public storage went from $417 a month to $541 a month, and that's reflected here through the end of June. The board, I'm sorry, is there something else? Okay, and the board member retreat is listed in the body of this proposal only because it was committed. However, since we've decided this is not needed, you'll see that it was not listed here on the right. So the recommendations for changes to operation have actually gone up from 15,500 to 15,900, and that is basically due to increases in materials, in-person meetings, and for storage.
Next page.
I
Excuse the
was
interruption.
waiting to see if anyone had a comment on that.
Comment. In
What-
response to your earlier question, James, we were spending approximately $32 a month in printing.
Wow. You guys get a good price.
Yeah.
So
All right.
Brian is no longer the owner there now, so you have to make a connection with the new owner.
Maybe we will just go over to Minuteman. That's where we've been getting our flyers done, and they've been very reasonable.
Not as convenient, however, for the person who has to go
I
and,
know that.
and drive around to pick it up, but it's true, it is more economical. So that may
So
be a
Linda,
consideration.
you're going to be presenting this at the LBNC meeting on the 1st?
Yes, and I'll be sure that it's included with what I need to give you for the agenda later today. I wanted
So
to
you're
hold,
going to be adding the retreat onto this as well?
no, we've decided not to do the retreat. That's something we reviewed in the previous commitments sheet. It was never included in the
Okay.
budget, but it was something that we committed to. And so it's
Okay.
listed here and we're not doing it, right? Okay,
Correct.
should we go on to, we'll go on to the
Page
next
2.
page 2. Okay. In case someone does not remember, the budget that you saw under office and operational, those items that we just reviewed on page 1 are listed individually, and those are things that once it's been approved in the budget, we do not have to go to the board every month and bring a motion and an approval. However, other categories in the budget, including outreach that you see here on page 2, those items are not listed individually on our LBNC official budget. It just says all outreach. And the items that our council would vote on for outreach items, events, whatever expenses they are, those would be done individually at a board meeting, not to exceed the total amount. So I did anticipate that the bins would be eliminated, and I just put that there for your reference. What you see above it, what that's handwritten, are some of the things that might be included, but not all, for outreach. And of course, at this point, we're talking about between March and June. So let's go move down. You see where the outreach has changed to $8,600?
Yes.
All right. So if there is no anticipation for anything in addition between now and June, and then I would recommend that we leave it at $8,600. Movies in the park would be an event. I don't think that hasn't come before the board, and I do not know what that would cost. Danica is not here, so
She's waiting to be pulled over.
she is. All right, then let me. Let me get back onto here. Great. Resize the window.
Okay,
Yeah, can you pull that over? Because I'm
did.
having a hard time changing this
I
off.
did.
Oh,
I did.
thank you. Danica, you're here. All right, so let me make a note. Did you just get here, Danica?
Oh, about 10 minutes ago, I think.
You did. Okay, while I'm sharing the screen. Okay.
I'm sorry.
No
For all
worries.
those nasty things we said.
I thought we did make a decision on the movie night.
We discussed it. I couldn't find anything listed for it, so I'm glad you're here. We voted, I believe, about doing a movie night. We don't have anything, as to my knowledge, that has to do with funding or approvals.
Correct. We haven't funded it yet. No.
No. So if there's a consideration for that, then if you have an idea as to how much that would cost, it would certainly affect making a change in our current budget through
Okay.
June.
Well, I
We
do
have
know.
the date. We have
Right.
the date is June 10.
That's what we did. We picked
Correct.
a date.
Correct.
Okay.
If we go with the pro outdoor events equipment, that's 1,800, and so then we'll need some advertising and promo costs. So I say we should do 2,000.
So you're thinking it may be about 2,000.
Well, let's see. Because we're not going to do mailers or anything like that, but I'd say up to 2,200.
All right. So if you are thinking
Because we're
that,
not providing food or anything, correct? Or are we going to do that again?
You did.
I believe the last time the hot dogs and stuff were
from
provided by Nuri
CD6.
Martinez.
Correct.
Yeah.
But since we
we
don't
had
have
some kind of,
anyone really at CD6, are we going to want to put that out there or just have everyone do a picnic?
we did provide at the last one, I forget what we had, popcorn and water or sodas, I do believe.
Yeah.
Cookies, water, popcorn.
Well, since we haven't really decided with the board on that, let's do up to 3,000, and then we can always, take the cost down.
Okay, if we're, all right.
Linda Gravani's laughing.
Yeah. All right.
That's because my daughter's in the background over here.
And we should have
Like
a
your-
CD6.
It's like your mom sitting behind you, behind me.
And we should have a CD6 rep in place by that time, if I would think.
I hope so.
Yeah.
All right, so what we've discussed so far with regard to outreach and making a change, events would be the movies. We're not doing anything with Neighborhood Watch. Social media is all right. We have promotional giveaways already in storage. So that will take care of us through the end of the year. So if you notice that the possible proposal in this category took it from 11,000 to 8,600, which would take us through June. If we add 3,000 and put that back into outreach, then obviously that 3,000 will have to be taken from some other categories as we go through. And we haven't received, we didn't get to NPGs yet. So do you want to go on to the next categories and then come back to this before we make the suggestion on the adjustment? That's what I would like to
Pardon me,
do.
but, and I know I'm not a voting member, but why do you need an additional 3,000? You have 8,600 in there right now. And okay, you're going to do movies in the park. That takes away 3,000. That leaves you with 3,600. Social media doesn't cost you anything. You just said there's enough promotional giveaways through the end of the year. Neighborhood Watch was taken out. You don't need an additional 3,000. It's there. Actually,
The fact that we have taken the the $6,000 that we had committed for the EPs. If that 6,000 is not considered, you'll notice that that's been removed from the $11,000 and brought it down to 8,600. If it goes back up to 11,000,
the bottom
then
line should be going up if you're removing the EP bins.
well, the current budget is 11,000, and this proposal would be reducing outreach from 11,000 to 8,600, and
Right.
that's included in the other categories that we're going to review.
I mean, we're talking about basically 3 months of
Yeah,
stuff. And
yeah.
movies in the park are already in here, although not with the number. I wouldn't think we need to increase this over the 8,600.
Yeah, I think Jim is right. I think that number is in there already. So let's just move on, Linda.
We've got 20 minutes.
Fine. Okay, so we're going to leave this alone at $8,600.
Moving on.
Correct? Is that right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Fine. Okay, moving on. Okay. We're going on to election expenses, which are currently budgeted for $12,500. And folks may think that that's a lot. I'm going to ask for Jim Stein to send us some information.
I have.
Let me
Thank
finish.
you, Linda. What I've done is basically separated. Is it my turn to speak? What I've done is basically separated the election into. Okay. Tell me when.
Well, I was about to say to Karen, the comment that I was going to make is this. Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council and others used to have elections every 2 years. And at that time, our budget probably, and Jim can confirm this, was no more than maybe $6,000. This will be our first election where we are going to do another 4-year term. So the extra push is important. And Jim has some things that he wants to relay to you now, specifically with regard to what he feels are going to be expenditures that are necessary for this category. Go ahead, Jim.
I've tried to separate the election into basically 2 different periods or sections, and that would have been that the first section was to attract candidates. Clearly, we need to attract candidates. What are we're down to like a dozen, and other NCs are having similar trouble. Some of them are on the verge of closing. I don't want to be one of those. I've tried to find everything that we do, the Jesse Owens project, the Valley Relics project, everything we could do to try and attract people and use those opportunities to attract candidates. The forums, the candidate forum was another one I failed to mention. However, we've only spent actually only a few $100s. And specifically, we have, I want to do 2 more shredding events. $500 is already been approved for a shredding event. I need at least $690 more on the bare minimum to complete 2 more shredding events. And this would be leading up to the
election.
to the election, and both of those would be during the time element, that is before April 4th, to attract candidates. If we do the movie in the park, the flyers that we've already manufactured will be used at that, if we do movie in the park, depending on the date, those flyers would be used for that event. I'll need at least $200 more for additional flyers for the second period of this promotion, and that is the election itself. Now, this election is a little bit different in that the city is going to be mailing to addresses themselves so that people can vote by mail. I don't know if that's going to work. I really hope that it will. We haven't yet, we meet monthly. We haven't yet voted specifically on whether we are going to go with every door direct, walking man, or the possibility of having banners on the poles. I've looked into all three. The walking man, unfortunately, doesn't deliver to apartments. Every door direct would cost us approximately $1,500 for 5,000 people. We have 45,000 stakeholders in Lake Balboa. I think that based upon what I've just told you, and also the final thing was the fact that we need approximately $700 for the rental or for the use of the site when we do the election, because that will be at Galt Street, whether we like it or not. And we haven't decided whether or not we're going to have some kind of a special gimmick to try and get people to the election itself. These things will be decided later on. The 690 minimum for the shredding events to come, the $200 minimum for the flyers, whether we go with Minuteman, Every Door Direct, or banners on the poles, which will be decided. The use of the Galt Street Garage for the election itself, and whatever gimmick we may have at that event. I think we're going to need every penny of that $12,500.
Jim, based on that, and I know we're running out of time, it sounds like what you're saying, and you can see if that is correct. You feel that the $12,500 that's currently approved in the budget for election expenses, are you recommending that we keep that $12,500?
Yes.
All
I
right.
agree.
You agree?
Yeah.
All right.
Jim
Linda,
had mentioned a while back gimmicks at the election. You might recall that years ago, we gave out T-shirts and whistles at our tables away from the entrance of the school. So you may want to consider that as well.
That's a thought too. So you have all kinds of things you're going to be doing in your committee, but your recommendation for comments today is that you'd like to see the $12,500 in the election category to stay there. And I see Linda Gravani has raised her hand.
Yeah, the 12,500 is actually 10,281 according to your previous sheet.
Well, yes, Linda, and that's because part of that $12,500 has already been spent. We've spent $1,434. Actually, there will be a little bit more. Some of the items have not yet posted to be included. that'll be updated next month.
So I would recommend that $3,000 from the emergency preparedness outreach be moved over to elections.
I'm not sure that we would need an additional $2,500 or
I
$3,000
said
for elections.
$3,000.
3,000. Okay. So that would be $15,500.
Then it would be closer to the 1,250 that Jim Stein just mentioned.
Well, in that 1,250, that 12,500, the items that have already been spent are included in that amount. And
Understood. Understood. So he's talking about the 12,500. So if we take your figure of 10,281 and add 3,000, that's 13,281 that he can use for elections.
I'm not sure that this is clear, and maybe Jim can make a comment. We have 12,500. That's what's listed on the budget. Of that 12,500, we have already spent 1,400. Well, that's accepted because but it's going to have additional expenditures, and the available amount is going to be going down, down, down. I don't see that makes any difference as far as adding money back in. That the $12,500 should be enough at this point.
Are we not moving the budget around so that we have sufficient money? We're not spending money on a whole lot of other things in the meantime, but we will be spending money on elections. So why not throw it into elections? I don't understand.
In my opinion, I do not believe that more than $12,500 might be needed for elections. Jim Stein is going to have an election committee meeting, and he's indicated that he is going to create an election budget to break down these items, which is going to make that easier for everybody involved during this election period. And
So that 12.5 could go up or down.
It could.
So so we're going to wait until Jim presents a budget to the board, right?
That's my suggestion, that we would leave the 12,500 alone for now, and if the budget committee recommends a change, we certainly can do that.
Okay, Jim has already recommended that the 12.5 stay in place for now.
I would recommend that we add $3,000 to that figure so that we don't have to come back and redo the budget at a future time. Don't forget, we may not be able to have a meeting in April. We have to do this now in March. So if we're going to move figures around, why not move figures into an area where we think we're going to spend it?
That makes sense.
I agree with that.
So Linda S., will you make that change?
We're going to, let me put this in here. All right, so
Add 3,000?
is it agreed by the panelists that we would increase the election expenditures by $3,000?
Yes, making the total 15.5.
Okay, I'm going to make a note here.
And at the same time, I would increase the NPG by 2,500.
Well, we're about to get to that right now. So
But we're running out of time.
Yes, we are running out of time. And elections, we're going to do, all right, plus 3,000.
So 13,500.
13,500, yes.
Moving down.
All right, and what are you all showing still? You're showing outreach as 8,600 still? No, you're not. We'll come back and adjust that. Okay. the next thing on our list, and we're getting right there, is, okay, NPGs, and I'm going to take this off here. Wonderful. Okay. So far, we've had 2 MPGs. Our budget is $3,000. We had Valley Relics Museum, and the other one was the EP West Los Angeles Fair for $1,500, and those are listed on the copy that you have there. So there's only, out of $3,000, there's $1,500 left. We have in the past and may possibly do between now and June, Friends of LA River, One Generation Senior Symposium, and I believe Linda Gravani mentioned TAS, which is the Adult Skills Learning Center. Am I right?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So
I'm going to
listed
step
on-
away.
Go ahead. So
gonna
listed
step
on here.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Jim.
Thanks, Jim.
So is Jim?
Jim's gone.
Oh, I just saw him.
He's gone.
Get plugged in, but how am I going to like?
Oh, Dad said to leave it plugged in. Oh, sorry, I gotta put myself on.
Okay. We have to get down. This is 10:57. We're going to have to finish this. All right. Let's address this as we need to. We have $3,000 in the NPG category. The recommendation based on the time we have left in this fiscal year and potential additional expenses increased it from MPGs from 3,000 to 5,000. And that would allow us for the senior symposium, which we have done, I would say consistently as a council.
And task.
Pardon me?
And task.
At tasks I didn't put on here, but I do have it on my own sheet, tasks. Not as much, obviously, as we have given in the past, because we used to,
Been too much.
well, we had a lot of money to spend on NPGs because we were not meeting in person. And now we've got something left, we need to take care of it. So we've done the top 2 items that you have on your sheet. I would like to recommend that we include on this funds for the senior symposium at One Generation, somewhere between 750 and 1,000. And then we have tasks that would give them at least that we could do another 1,000.
Task is 2,500 on their request.
Well, they can ask for what they want, but at this point, if we start increasing NPGs to over $5,000, you're going to be taking that money out of other categories between now and June.
Well, as I mentioned, there was $6,000 for the EP, which is not going to happen. So 3,000 is going to go to, I forgot what we said already, and 2,500 can go for NPGs.
All right, we'll see how this balances out. This is just a projection, okay?
But we need the funds in the right place in order to vote on it on Wednesday. If it's not in the right place, then we have to meet again to put them in the right pockets.
Yes, that is absolutely correct. And the suggestion at this point is going to be if we increase the NPGs, all right, we have what, 35, we have 1,500. No, I'm sorry, I just had a headache.
Let's
We
just
have
deal with the total.
1,500
We have
left.
35, if we increase it to 5,000, we have 3,500 left. because the two items you saw on the screen, those have already been spent. So currently we have $1,500. If we increase MPGs to $5,000, okay, that means that we would have $3,500 left over to distribute between other worthy causes between now and June, $3,500.
Well, according to your NPG sheet, we have 1,500 available funds till the end of June.
Correct, and we're
Okay, if we add 2,500 from the 6,000 from the EP, that will give us $4,000. Does that work?
I don't know. What do you have? What do you have as the final suggestion back on outreach? Because
4,000.
we checked that off at the total for outreach at $8,600. Am I right?
Yes.
Okay. That is only 2,000 and change. Okay. So you want, this isn't going to balance. If we have all agreed that we're doing operations, we agreed on. Outreach, we've agreed would be 8,600, and that eliminates the funds from the EP.
Right.
Right, because we were over on that in any case. Election, we're talking about adding 3,000. No, we are not doing 3,000. We're leaving elections alone.
At 12.5.
Correct. Let me cross this out. This stays the same. All right. And that leaves us basically just the NPGs. And my eyes just left me. So if you have a calculator, please do that, because I don't have anything here. I can't see. That's not good. So I'm going to check this.
So according to your worthy causes, the budget was $3,000.
Correct.
We've spent 1,500. That leaves 1,500 still available. We're going to add 2,500 to that 1,500 from the EP bins.
We've already done the original category for the outreach, and now we're working on this one. So you're expecting that this is going to match up?
Yeah.
Well, you've got 30 currently. If we go with the suggested revision on NPGs, you have $3,500 available to spend. You're wanting to add to that, correct, Linda Grani?
You mean 3,500?
Yeah, $3,500. If we increase NPGs according to the recommendation that's on the proposed revision.
I don't know where the confusion is. It's clear to me.
Well, if we are leaving the other categories as we have listed here, okay, there has already been an adjustment in outreach downward, and that's already been taken into account. If we've lowered outreach on the budget from $11,000 to $8,600, the differential there has already been put into another category, like NPGs. That's what I'm saying.
Because you've already indicated under outreach, deleted EP bins 6,000. So that's what brought the total down to 8,600. So between operational at 15,900, outreach at 8,600 and election,
Right.
we are at $37,000 right now without MPG.
So that I understand, Linda S., are you saying that in the figures you've already given us, you already had taken out the $6,000?
She did.
Yes, I had already made those adjustments so that we wouldn't have to spend so much time
It's
on
on
it.
this page, page 2.
I had just made a notation there that had been deleted and taken into consideration what we've already spent. If we need to add for movies in the park later, we can do that. But what you see in the right-hand columns here is after the adjustments for what we've spent and what has been projected. And if you take those subtotals and you include an increase in NPGs from 3,000 to 5,000, that puts us at $42,000.
Correct.
Right. Which means maybe TAS is asking for $2,000, and that's something that will be decided by the board, whether it's $2,000 or not.
We're not.
Yeah.
It's
So we
actually
have-
2,500.
All right, that can be discussed at our board meeting then. They're asking for it. Okay?
Correct, but if there's no money in the budget, then we have to go back to the budget and move it around again. If we move it around again and we approve it, then it's already done deal.
Well, also,
Otherwise, you're going to say we don't have enough funds in the budget.
well, Linda Gravani or Linda G, we have no idea at this particular point in time whether the board is going to approve $2,500 for a TAS NPG or not. We don't know that.
That
Yes,
is
but
correct.
see, but Linda S., what she's saying is we can be prepared if the board approves it.
Well,
We
that's
can be
correct.
proactive and just do it now as opposed to having
yes.
to do it again later.
Okay, that's true. And if you want to do that, then you're going to take the money from another category and decide where it is. So if you are figuring what we have already spent and they are asking for 2,500, that's $4,000, and that would leave us with if that's approved, it would leave us with $1,000 in NPGs through the end of the year. And in my opinion, that needs to go to senior symposium, or it could go to something else, but that would leave us $1,000 in that category, cover tasks, possibly one generation, and leave it at $5,000 in NPGs without having to fiddle around with other budget categories to make this balance. Does that make sense?
I'm confused,
Okay.
but I mean, I may be the only one who's confused.
Okay, well, here, the proposal is to revise MPGs from the existing 3,000 to 5,000.
Mhm.
Okay, we've spent 1,500, and that leaves us 3,500 available if we approve this.
Right.
TAS is wanting 2,500. That would leave 1,000. That $1,000 could go to one generation for the symposium. It could go somewhere else, but that would leave us with $1,000 if TAS gets approved in March.
But are you
That's
saying
okay.
that we then have to now go back to what we already did and take this $2,000 from something else?
If you go over the $5,000 adjusted that's
Yes.
already suggested, then yes, that's what we'd have to do.
No, but if you don't go over the 5,000, we're okay.
If we don't go over
We're
the
okay.
5,000, we're fine, and TASK would be, we could facilitate an MPG to TASK.
And so you're aware what TASK is wanting is an emergency preparedness chair. They're on the second floor and they have people that cannot walk. If the elevators go out, there's no way to get the folks down to the first floor.
Well, good,
Unless
then
they-
we'll,
Hold on
Linda,
a second.
yeah,
Hold on just a second. So that is why they are looking for this. And I felt the money that was going to go for EP would be great for this particular use. It'll be up to the board on Wednesday to decide whether they want to or not. If they do want to, we should have funds in the budget prepared so that we can do it. If not, then we all have to reconvene again and move money around between now and the end of March, because we don't know if we'll be in person or not.
Question, is Task still located at their facility on Sherman Way?
Yes.
1560. Well, they've had that second floor offices for years up there. And so now they're just not asking for a chair to get folks down. What has happened in the past?
Well, let's not ask at all, and then they're not prepared. They're asking now, and we can do it or not.
well, then they can
did-
come to the meeting then and make their proposal, and it's
Okay.
25, and the board will vote on it. If we
Okay,
approve,
it's 11:11,
Linda,
and
this is gonna
we're
take,
just going round. Wait a second, we're just going round and round. So whatever we want to vote on, we need to vote on, because I'm not going to spend another 20 minutes
Well,
trying to figure out
and
what
I'm
we should or
trying to do this, I am trying to do the same thing. So if you leave the $5,000 proposed for NPG's, task is covered, should we approve it at the March board meeting? So my recommendation is to take the suggested revision, increasing NPG's to $5,000, and it will cover what we just discussed.
So do I hear a motion?
So we're going to have a motion for the entire budget.
We're going to do the entire budget. So let's just say if we agree on this, and if we do, we'll do the whole budget, and then we're done.
I agree on this.
James?
Agreed.
Me too. Linda?
Is that the motion?
No, we're just agreeing on this. We're going to do a motion for the budget.
Okay, so make the motion for the budget.
All right. I move that the committee accept the proposed revision to the current budget fiscal year 22-23 as follows. Office and operational, 15,900.
Outreach,
All outreach, 8,600.
elections,
Elections, 12,500. NPGs, 5,000.
total,
Okay, the total is $42,000, which is our current budget.
second,
Okay. All right, let's take a vote. James,
aye,
Carol,
Yes,
Linda G.
Yes.
Okay, also me, yes, okay.
Danica?
Yes,
Danica, you disappeared on me. I'm sorry, Danica.
I just turned my camera off. I'm cooking.
Oh, okay. So
Yes.
you're a yes, okay. All right, so this is carried. We have another item to look at. And again, this is way in advance of what we're doing. I am trying to get my screen bigger. Okay, the next thing is going to be the draft budget for the year 2023, 2024. And this is preliminary, and Linda Gravani, our president, had asked specifically that we consider it now because it will be something that we have in the works and ready to present towards the end of this fiscal year, especially, like I said, we're not going to be meeting in July. The city wants our new budget and our administrative packet by then. If we can get this prepared and get it put to bed, good for us. That means we're prepared and we may not have to have a special meeting in July, and the city will be happy. So,
Isn't it possible the new board might want a July meeting, especially if there are a lot of new members?
don't know.
The difficulty waiting until July is that nobody knows who's president, nobody knows who's what. Yes, there could be, but the budget has to be in by the end of June while we're still seated. So instead of waiting until June, and my feeling is I really would like to have this on the agenda for Wednesday so that we could vote on it so that it's all in place. We don't have to worry about it in the midst of elections, etc. So the more we get done ahead of time, the better it is for the next team, is my opinion.
All right, I want you to see this, and I hope I don't lose you. Budget. Okay, let me share the screen with you. Are you seeing that?
No,
I bet you are now.
no,
How about now?
yes.
Okay, excellent. All right, this is,
Draft budget.
yes, it's a draft budget for the new fiscal year, keeping in mind, if you look towards the top, $10,000 in rollovers crossed out. We have no idea whether we are going to get a rollover or not, so we have to count only on $32,000. So this budget is going to be based on the $32,000 for the council. So indicated there are the items that have gone up from this year with notations, and in operations you can see anticipated costs either for a period or by the month, so you'll know. In the handwritten to the right and just next to where you'll see the figures crossed out, you see the figures crossed out on the budget and it shows an up arrow. To the left of that, you'll see the projected amount next to it. So here you go. Facility meetings was 600, up, estimate $800. Office equipment up, now estimate 5. So wherever you see the up arrow, just to left of that column, you'll see the estimate of what's anticipated for next year as of this time, which would increase office and operationals from 15,500 to 16,610. Outreach, we have no idea. It was 11,000. It's only been decreased here by what? Down to 10,390. Again, that may be a little low, but we aren't even into the new year. So 10,390 for outreach. Elections are 0. Worthy causes, MPGs, 5,000. Nothing for community improvement. And here at the bottom, you'll see the proposed amount, categories written in hand, and again, 32,000. Keep in mind, folks, we're not going to have $42,000. We can't count on it. So that's why you see the adjustments here. If we get it in July or August, great, but we can't count on it. So this is my proposal to include as a draft budget to be presented at the March 1 board meeting. So is there any discussion on that? No? All right. Then I'd like to make a motion that the budget committee recommends this proposed draft budget for fiscal year 2023, 2024. Do we have a second?
I second.
Okay. Okay, so a vote. Do I need to screen share? No?
No.
No.
No, good. Okay, let's do that. Okay, and so, Linda Gravani,
Are we voting?
Yes.
yes, we have I firsted, Carol seconded.
I understand. Usually we go in order. So yes.
Okay, Carol Newman,
Yes.
James Brown,
Yes.
Danica Middleton,
Yes.
Linda Schwerin, yes, okay. Okay. All right, folks, this lasted longer than we thought. I'll get this finished so that we have it to review, and we're going to present it at the meeting on March the 1st. And you all have been wonderful. So, thank you, and we're adjourning. It
Thank you,
is
Linda.
11:20 at
11:22.
11:27. Oh, 21. Yeah. Thank you.
Got it. Okay. Thanks, folks. See you next week. Bye.